The story of Undermine began with trust issues, where an explosion in the ringing deeps led us to Undermine itself, and you can watch that walkthrough in my previous video of the series. Today, we continue with the second chapter of Undermine's story, Undermine Awaits. Grimla welcomes us to Undermine and gives us a coupon to use at the Intercontinental Hotel. And yes, you heard that right. We take the hot rod, but first, Owena heads off to see if she can track the Black Blood.
Never thought I'd be back here. Better get started.
I'll see if I can track the Black Blood.
You're gonna want to keep a low profile. Gallywix is not a fan.
I came to fix problems, not make new ones.
Violin, don't be shy. First stop, the Intercontinental Hotel. Goblins of all sorts congregate there. It's a great place to get the latest word.
Undermine smells worse than I remember. Was it always this suffocating?
Come on now, old grease and burnt rubber, the smells of home.
This ain't my home. Not anymore.
Excellent. Let's head inside the hotel.
Once at the hotel, we hand our coupon over to the hotel's concierge, Pax Topskimmer. Welcome to the Intercontinental. You got a reservation? Ain't gonna matter, we're full. Wow, and the coupon isn't even expired. This hotel is the best of the best. It's centrally located, isn't full of nasty dark views thugs, and we keep the Croach population de-escalated. Rooms are full, but Hearthstones we've got. Do you need one? We can ask about the hotel's name. You call this place the Intercontinental? Yeah, duh, Intercontinental. Like inside the continent? 'Cause we're underground. Get it? You mean intracontinental, right? Oh. Pax stares off into the distance as a realization comes across his face. We just had the sign redone. We chat with Gas Grimeshank, who handles shipping and handling. Shipping and handling is the best and the best when it comes to employers in Undermine. And we're not Dark Fuse affiliated, so you don't gotta sacrifice your morals working for Gallywix. What sort of jobs does shipping and handling do? The jobs are mostly delivery, comes with a nice ride as a perk. If you make a name for yourself around Undermine, I'll be in touch. And smacks Topskimmer, the renowned quartermaster for the Cartels of Undermine. How's it going? I'm already a Bilgewater big shot. Out in the world you are, but you're down here now. It's a whole different game. In Undermine, we all start at the bottom. Trust me, pal, it's worth it. Finally, we chat with KD Racketrink, the cartel recruiter who allows players to choose which faction to ally with for the week. You looking for work? Well, you're in the right place. Cartels here are always looking for temporary contractors for quick gigs. I got all sorts of brochures if you want to peruse the benefit packages. Also, I may or may not be paid on commission by the Trade Coalition. Apparently, I'm legally required to add in that part. Whatever. Why do I want to choose a cartel to work for? Why wouldn't you? You get to make a name for yourself, and them trade princes won't ever forget what you've done for them.
Undermine is in a situation right now, with Gallywix and the Dark Fuse.
Good thing we are here to make a difference.
Bilgewater's gotten it worse than the other cartels.
I need to get to the Bilgewater. These Dark Views have me worried.
We can ask Katie more about the cartels. Sure thing. Which one? Tell me more about Bilgewater. The Bilgewater cartel is Montagazlo's crew. They practice what you call the classical goblin arts, building things and blowing them up. Some of the best mechanical minds have been in that cartel. Gazlo, Grapplehammer, even Gallywix back in the day. Innovation, engineering, construction, city planning, infrastructure, and all of that stuff in reverse. With explosions. Obviously, they're part of the Horde, but don't let that scare you off. This is Undermine. The jobs here are all about Undermine business. We can actually ask Gazlo if the Bilgewater are part of the Horde as well. Look, it's complicated. I got the contracts around here somewhere. If you were on the original boat from Kazan, signed on later for a promotion like me, or settled in Orgrimmar, or took an advanced Orgrimmar correspondence course, you are clearly a member of the Horde. Goblins who have only lived in Undermine or outlying suburbs are not de facto Horde citizens as such if they don't know nothing about it. I gotta talk to the Horde Council about this. Just don't worry about it for now. Back to KD. Tell me more about the Steamweedle. The Steamweedle cartel is probably the oldest and largest cartel. You can see that by all the towns they got across Azeroth, and I hear even beyond. Marin Noggenfogger is the trade prince these days, and he's big in the alchemy and potions scene. Of course, Steamweedle does fuels, potions, and any old industrial chemicals too, but a goblin's gotta have his favorites. But running the biggest cartel doesn't leave a lot of time for mixing it up. Rumor is the missus does a lot of the potion work these days, but I don't know if that's just making, selling, or both. That's Sprinkle Noggenfogger if you hadn't heard. The point is, Steamweedle means liquid assets. Tell me more about Blackwater. Who says an old goblin can't change? Seems like just yesterday shipping and handling were running from the Blackwater raiders. Now the Blackwater cartel is running shipping. Ha! Well, shipping, trade, transport, and tourism. Baron, Trade Prince Revelgaz has turned that ship around. He still runs Booty Bay, and it seems like he's still friendly with the Steamweedle cartel. The Blackwater raiders always had ties to the Steamweedle cartel. It was probably Marin Noggenfogger becoming Trade Prince that opened the door for Blackwater to become a proper cartel here in Undermine. They may still do some smuggling and piracy, but you didn't hear that from me. Tell me more about the venture company. You can't build without materials. For better or worse, when you need raw materials, the venture company gets them. If you can dig it up, chop it down, or blow it out of a mountain, they will. They also got some of the best heavy machines. Miners, shredders, drills, and what have yous. They get in a lot of trouble digging or cutting where they shouldn't, or trying to keep what they promised to someone else. That's probably why there ain't no trade prince. Sometimes there are bad people at the top, but terminal command restructuring is pretty regular over there. Grimla Fizzlecrank is the one who hands out the jobs these days, and she's alright in anyone's book. What if I want to change my cartel? Easy pal, it's just a contract. I don't know what you've heard, but the contract is only for a week. Then you can work for the same cartel or work for a different one. We can't join the Darkviews, naturally. Next, we head to Tailgate Park, which used to be under the control of the Bilgewater, but lately has been overrun by Darkviews.
Next stop, Tailgate Park. All aboard! Darkviews kinda took over Tailgate Park.
I left Laszlo Overbite in charge. I need to talk to him.
Gazlo. They killed him.
I remember things being bad, but this is worse than expected.
Renzik comments, Gazlo ain't gonna like the look of this place, not one bit. Sure enough, when we chat to Gazlo, he says, looking around, I see more dark views than Bilgewater. Montegazlo's expression darkens and he shakes his head slowly. I know Laszlo wouldn't have stood for it, and that must have put a target on his back. Darkviews have been harassing goblins, so Grimla suggests we harass them back. Gazlo wants to know who's in charge now that Laszlo's been murdered and knows where to start asking.
I need to see it with my own eyes.
I'll stay with our ride, in case we need a quick escape.
I have to point out, one of the phrases these Darkviews goblins say is, always be killin', and is that a reference to Activision Blizzard King?
Something gotta be done about the Darkviews. Bilgewater can't go on like this.
Not so loud! It'll only make things worse. It might have to get worse to get better.
We question Delby Overbite, Laszlo's sister. My brother Laszlo did his best for the Bilgewater and Undermine. What happened? It's been a slippery slope with Gallywix. He manipulated a lot of Laszlo's friends, forcing Laszlo to go along with some awful deals. Laszlo stood up to Gallywix, but you know how that ended. That's when the Darkviews came. Nobody stepped up to lead us since that night. Why don't you run things now? No way, I got a little daughter. Gallywix would have no problem going after her. On the PTR, asking for a reminder of the events so far does nothing. It must trigger a cinematic or cutscene that isn't available yet.
Laszlo, how could Gallywix do this?
'Cause no one stopped him. We return to Grimla, and Gazlo is satisfied at least no other single goblin is Gallywix's current target, for now. Next, it's time to head to Venturewood. Grimla warns us that most of the Venture Company is loyal to Gallywix, but there are good folk among them still.
Last stop, the Heaps. My home turf.
He's infected every part of the city. The cartels ain't even standing up for themselves.
We've just gotta push them, Gazlo.
That's the spirit. As they say, there is no rain in Undermine. Isn't really a sun either. Hey, Nikki! Venture works for Gallywix now. Why are Darkfuse here?
'Cause Darkfuse keeps you nobody's in line.
We chat with Pamsy, who tells us, Nikki's solidly in Gallywix's pocket. She used to be my friend. You should talk to her.
You can't treat our own crew like this, Nikki.
I ain't like you. I'm at the big table. I'm going places. You're the one who gets to stick around and mop up this mess.
Nikki leaves behind a fire, so we rush to help, healing Magsy Bootstrap,
Venture sells out, and all we get is 20-hour shifts.
Mux Skullskipper,
Nikki wants a shortcut to the top, but we do all the work for it.
Waxel Bangsaw,
Venture was always a rough job, but it seemed better before Gallywix came to town.
and Evwix Bent Rocket.
Grimla sent you? She's a good one. Gallywix's arrival brought out the worst in some goblins.
We can actually ask Grimla if being part of the Venture Company is worth all the trouble. Goblin's gotta try, don't she? Where would Bilgewater be if you didn't stick around with them? Pamsy is not happy and asks us to deal with Gallywix's spycopters, recovering their spycopter footage rolls, extensive footage of the Venture Company's internal disputes. By the time we're done, Owena has rejoined us.
I have never seen a place like this.
Wait till you see Uptown.
Owena tells us black blood is everywhere in Undermine, and she's discovered a shipment at Hovel Hill.
I caught the scent of black blood in a small storehouse. We must hurry.
I have more deliveries. I'll be in touch.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go. Wayna, you didn't have to knock him out.
He was going to take the black blood.
We don't need to question him, just take a look around. We soon discover an ethereal warning letter. Don't worry about the bots at the pickup. Last guy spotted an ethereal watching us, and it ain't the first. These bots will make sure no one gets the drop on ya. Ethereals in Undermine? We gotta tell Ilaria. Really, Renzik? That story we heard from a goblin in the previous chapter about bandaged ghosts didn't tip you off?
I can reach her fastest.
I'll watch Gazlo and keep him out of trouble. As it turns out, the Blackwater are involved, which comes as a surprise to Gazlo. He suggests we pay Baron Revelgaz, or Trade Prince Revelgaz, a visit.
That crate of black blood had Blackwater labels all over it. Let's pay Revelgaz a visit. Hey, look, we're all friends here.
But you're working for the bad guys. Gazlo tells us we gotta put real pressure on Revelgaz here. He's not a villain, just self-interested. I know he'll help us, though. Renzik adds, if this guy wants to claim he's legit, he'll need to step up. We speak with Revelgaz. To what do I owe the pleasure of the three of you showing up at my temporary abode? What's going on with the ethereals? I've only heard whispers about ethereals in Undermine. Ghost stories make the delivery guys jumpy. Extra security didn't hurt nobody. Why is this your temporary home? All I've done is work with Gallywix, but the Darkfuse squatted in the Blackwater Marina anyway. I got sick of him watching my every move, so a new place gave me a bit of freedom. Who controls Hovel Hill? No one controls Hovel Hill. The goblins with no cartel ties live there, and any cartel goblins that don't have better digs in one of the cartel areas. We've found evidence that you are transporting black blood within Undermine. You make it sound like I've committed a crime. We all gotta find ways to survive under Gallywix's tyranny. Where's the black blood going in Undermine?
You're my pals, but it's Undermine. You want something, you give something.
Revelgaz tells us he hates the Dark Fuse as much as anyone, but his hands are tied. But an outsider like us can make trouble with them. And while we're at it, maybe we can burn their recruitment posters.
Renzik and I'll stay with Rebelgaz. We got catching up to do.
Everyone here works for a bigger fish. And you can't just spill secrets. Smuggly confidentiality, yeah? Loose lips sink ships. Like I couldn't, for old time's sake, tell you that I just leave the stuff at a depot in the heaps.
And we wouldn't ask. We cause chaos with the Dark Fuse and tear down the Gallywix once used style recruitment posters before returning to the others. Renzik reckons it's time to find out where the Black Blood goes after it's been at the heaps.
I don't like this. I'm getting a closer look.
Don't start too much trouble. I don't want any blowback from this.
I caught sight of our old pal Zerdo when scouting the depot.
I was hoping to never see him again after the ring in deeps.
Gazlo tells us the engines on these couriers' bikes are still hot. Renzik and me are going to keep an eye out for the couriers while you investigate the depot. Renzik suggests we smash what shipments we can. Every little bit helps. And Gazlo tells us to pay our old pal Zerdo, who you may remember betraying us in the previous chapter, a nice and fatal visit. Let's mess up the Black Blood shipment while we're here.
And pay Zerdo back for what he did to Pamsy's crew.
It's just business, pal. I had to be a big shot.
We also come across Zerdo's ledger, which contains deliveries of Black Blood across the Undermine that were approved by Noggenfogger, trade prince of the Steamweedle Cartel.
You get the delivery to the secret project site yesterday, and whatever's left goes to Venture for munitions testing. Where is Noggenfogger's shipment? Don't you make me look bad in front of him.
Gazlo can barely believe it. Noggenfogger is his friend. You found a ledger that mentions Noggenfogger? That can't be right. Who is Noggenfogger? Marin Noggenfogger? He's the Baron of Gadgetstan and now trade prince of the Steamweedle Cartel. Noggenfogger and me, we go way back. We joined up with Steamweedle and left Undermine about the same time. I did more construction and he did more alchemy. We kinda split ways when we landed in Kalimdor, but we was always friendly. Well, he got a little pompous when he became a baron, but when he married Sprinkle, he got back to his old self. Me and him was even working on some ideas to make things better for the goblins who worked for our cartels. Gazlo is of course referring to the events of the short story The Goblin Way by Andrew Robinson, and if you've read that, you can understand why he's confused. It's just a hunch, but Renzik thinks we should get out of the heaps fast. But Gazlo's having a hard time with the Noggenfogger news, so we give him a moment to get through this.
Unbelievable! Noggenfogger working for Gallywix! I told you, this town ruins everything and everyone. It ain't worth it.
Zerdo's always been a sleaze. Revelgaz, he's a decent goblin, but he's still a pirate. Noggenfogger? Maybe he was playing an angle with you. Maybe he's always been rotten. But what I know is, they all worked for Gallywix. Some 'cause they wanna, some 'cause they got no choice.
You think Gallywix has leverage on him?
He's your pal. You tell me.
I don't know, but I'm gonna find out.
Let's get out of here so we can talk. Feels like we're being watched. Outside the heaps, we speak with Gazlo. Renzik was here a moment ago. He told me to be quiet and vanished. Let's look around, quietly. Watch out!
Stop meddling in our affairs!
We speak with Renzik. These ethereals clearly don't want us investigating this, but how'd they get mixed up in Undermine? What should we do next? Back to the hotel. We've got a lot to tell the others.
That ethereal got the drop on us. I hope Orwaina's reached Illyria by now.
Me too, 'cause this is trouble.
Noggenfogger, what have you gotten yourself into?
What's more, Grimla says Orwena and Ilaria haven't shown up yet. And with that, we've reached the end of Undermine Awaits. Look out for the next chapter, which should be coming soon, uncovering the truth. If you enjoyed this video, you can always like, subscribe, comment, share, you know, all that good YouTube stuff. I'd also like to gently highlight my Patreon, where you can support the channel directly. Finally, you can find me on Blue Sky or very occasionally Twitch, where I'm always happy to talk about all things World of Warcraft, and a few other subjects as well. So while that's all for now, hopefully I'll see you again soon.